Hi, everybody. We only have 20 minutes, so we're going to get this show on the road, okay? I'm Alyssa Lovelace. For those of you who don't know me, I am the Digital Chamber's boots on the ground in Albany, New York. So I help them with their government relations and their relationship mapping there in the state of New York. And with me today is our Department of Financial Services Superintendent, Adrienne Harris. Thank you, Superintendent, for being here today.
Thanks for having me. Good to see everyone.
Yeah, we're very excited to have you today, and I certainly know that there are some questions out there, which we are not going to ask today. However, I'm happy to bring them to New York and funnel those through the proper channels. But I guess let's just start with the easy stuff. Tell us more about DFS. What's your mandate? And what are your priorities?
Well, again, thanks for having me. It's good to be here with you. You're going to come with me everywhere, and people are like, don't ask questions. So DFS is obviously the state financial regulator for New York. We oversee several hundred banks, including 15 GSIBs, 120 foreign institutions, several thousand insurance companies across life, P&C, and health. We're obviously really the only prudential regulator of cryptocurrency in the country, state or federal. PBMs, money transmission, student lending, mortgage servicing, you name it, we oversee it. And also in my capacity as superintendent, I oversee the New York Liquidation Bureau, where we work out insolvent insurance companies and make sure those claims get paid. So quite a lot going on.
What do you have any, so in New York State, we have our budget process going on right now. Do you have any particular budget priorities you're working on that are either of priority for these guys, or what's your biggest thing you're working on right now?
Yeah, I think you all will be maybe relieved to know we don't have any budget priorities for the crypto community this year. When I first came into the office, I got the department fully funded for the first time in its history, and that meant we were really able to staff up. So in my tenure, which is 3.5 years in it, feels like 30, we've added about 550 team members to the team. We've promoted about 450 team members in the team. I came in and the crypto unit was probably 3 folks. Now it's over 60 professionals across BSA and AML, forensic accounting, other financial crimes. And so I think it's really the largest crypto regulatory unit probably anywhere in the world as we seek to license, supervise, and then of course where necessary bring enforcement actions. So we continue to focus on staffing and then on better technology. So we're rolling out a CRM across the agency that'll make it easier for all of our regulated entities and consumers to engage with us.
That's really exciting. And, having worked in Albany for, I think this is my 17th or 18th session, whenever I'm at a budget hearing, I hear the legislators and you tout the fact that you've really built up this department and you have great staff. And I work with the staff regularly. They are truly amazing. So fear not, your best interest is in mind there in Albany, and I will relay those messages to you through the chamber. But I know a lot of you are here right now because you want to hear a little bit about the BIT license process there in New York, right? So, DFS, you've been at the forefront of that whole process for the last 10 years, and you came into it. So how have you and DFS really gone about reshaping that regulatory space through the agency? Yeah,
so as you noted, the BIT license is now 10 years old, so I can't take credit for the framework, or maybe that's a good thing in some ways. But if you come to New York, of course, you have to be licensed by DFS to do any sort of virtual currency related work. And you can do that through the BIT license or through our limited purpose trust charter. So there are really 2 paths to doing business in the state, and they allow for different business models. I think currently most of our licensees are BIT licensees, but increasingly we see interest in that limited purpose trust charter. The licensing regime is very rigorous, and so I think the number one complaint we get, of course, is how long it takes. My counsel to companies is always, our clock doesn't start until your application is complete. So if you think about all the work that is required for your application, the BSA policy we require, the cybersecurity policy, if the application isn't complete, we don't start counting. And then of course we will go through the application, we'll provide companies with deficiency letters where we see deficiencies. Often it takes companies quite a long time to respond to those. In general, our sort of rule is 3 deficiency letters and we're going to make you start over. but because I have this wonderful team who's very generous with their time, often they will work with companies around that. So I think the time it takes is often because applications aren't complete, is often because the team is ignoring their boss and being a little more iterative with companies than maybe they should be. But I think it's a good thing because we want well-prepared companies to enter the space. And frankly, sometimes we just really have companies or applicants who are just not fit or ready to do business. And so often the application will sit until the company can sort of get itself fit to be in the space, or we have to tell them to go back and start again.
So I'm not sure if you all heard her, for those of you who have applications in the process, but they take time and they don't start until the minute you get all of the final materials, right? That review
absolutely.
process.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind before you call me and ask me where it is, because I don't know.
Or call
But,
me.
right, or call you.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that it is not sitting in the basement, that application, right? It is not just lost on somebody's desk. The process is rigorous, it is
Yeah.
real, and there is a formalized team that is reviewing these
Absolutely.
application process.
And the other thing I would say is that now every application, since we've come in and built out the team, right, there's always a point of contact on the application. You can always call and talk to that person. The same is true once you're licensed. You have a supervisory point of contact that's really your chief liaison into the department. But I always encourage people too to come in, have a pre-application meeting, right? Don't just dive into the process, but come in and talk to the team about everything that's entailed, because that'll really help you get a jump start on the application.
Yeah, and that is the a key component of building your relationships in New York government or in any government, any state that you're in. Well, we have 5 minutes. We're gonna really bang through these.
We're gonna do lightning
Okay.
round.
All right. Okay. So, how do you? This is a burning question. How do you see New York State working with the new Trump administration?
Yeah, so we've always collaborated, frankly, with the federal government. I was the state banking member on FSOC for 2 years. We've been involved in every piece of legislation, House, Senate, minority, majority, for now 2.5 years. So nobody is more hopeful than us that federal legislation will get across the finish line. And my MO is that we work with people who want to work with us, and so that partnership will continue with the federal government, and it'll continue internationally as well.
Right, and if the federal government is successful in really implementing a comprehensive crypto framework, what would that mean for the future of New York's BIT license, or just your general priorities? How do you see that all fitting together?
Yeah, well, it won't surprise anybody in this room. Often when we're reviewing bills, we are very keen to make sure that the bills preserve a robust state pathway so that states like New York can continue to regulate in the space. I think we've been successful in preserving that in most of the drafts that have traveled through Congress. So that's one of our main priorities. I think we also really want to make sure that whatever comes through Congress and ultimately through rulemaking is robust, like we have in New York, that has the same cybersecurity requirements that we have, has the same BSA requirements that we have, which are the same that we see on our banking side, right? That have very stringent capitalization requirements, redemption requirements, reserving requirements. So we work very hard at that, and I think we've seen some success. So we're optimistic.
Yeah, I certainly would say. And just, I want to touch on the consumer protection angle, because this is really important, and this is a huge priority at the New York State level for all of our regulators and our lawmakers. What lessons has DFS specifically learned in balancing innovation with consumer protection and market integrity in the crypto space?
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer, right, that you can protect consumers and markets and be good for business at the same time. I think, in Washington, you sort of get one or the other. In New York, it's the financial capital. We have to be able to do both. And what we've learned is having transparent, albeit rigorous, rules on the books helps drive growth, which is why the demand for the BIT license, the demand for the limited purpose trust charter just continues to grow and grow and grow. But it requires lots of engagement with all of our stakeholders, including industry, to make sure that we're balanced. But we don't see the race to the bottom. We don't see, I know the BIT license, when it was first put into place, drove some companies out of the state, but as we've matured it, as we've added guidance, as we've built the team, the opposite has really been true.
Right, and we need to make sure that the crypto industry stays at the forefront of our conversations in government, whether it's at DFS or DEC or whatever other regulating entity. with the rapid pace of the technology and the advancements, how do you keep up as a regulator? And do you see crypto actually integrating with the traditional financial systems that you have?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's why New York is a great place for the crypto community, right? That's still the financial capital, certainly of the country and arguably of the world. And we see more and more traditional financial institutions working with distributed ledger, right? Blockchain, tokenization, crypto. So the more it can all be right there in the epicenter, I think the better off everyone will be. And we keep up, frankly, because we have a great team. It's a diverse team. We have people that have been in government for a lot of their careers. We have, and the team loves when I say this, we have like some real crypto bros on the team as well. I said this at another conference, and one of our crypto bros was like, "That's me," and I was like, "It is you." Nailed it. But having that diversity of experience and making sure that we're engaging with our stakeholders consistently really does help us keep abreast of developments. And then we implement a lot of the same technologies we require of our regulated entities. So we require blockchain analytics of our regulated entities. We also use it for transaction monitoring, and that helps us sort of keep up with how things work.
Please have that conversation with your lawmakers as well, as a favor to me. Thank you. And last question, what should these guys be doing now to be better equipped to work with within your regulatory framework?
Yeah, so I say the same thing everywhere I go, which is engage with your regulator early and often, right? If we read about it before we hear about it, we're off to a bad start, but we really do welcome people to come in for a pre-application meeting or come in and lay out the 5-year business plan so that you're engaging with the team, not just around a particular regulatory filing or issue or enforcement action, right? But that the team really has that full view of what you're trying to do with your business, because I think people are surprised to find that our objectives are better aligned than maybe they imagine.
Certainly. Well, okay, I think that was our lightning round. Thank you so much, Superintendent. I truly enjoyed talking with you. And for those of you, again, just recap, the bit license starts.
When the application is complete.
Okay,
Yes.
so don't call me before that. Also, engage with your lawmakers, engage with your regulators, engage through the chamber, create those relationships, because at the end of the day, that is where you will find success. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it. Thank
Thanks,
you, everybody.
everyone.